welcome back to another glorious 18th episode of Getting Nerdy. I'm your host, Hamma.
And Mingo-Dee.
Yeah. Now, I know you're seeing two of us on the screen right now. And, our counterparts, our brothers, they got adult stuff going on. One of our brothers is a little bit under the weather, but, they will return. No worries. It's gonna be a two-man show, but I think me and Mingo-Dee, I think we got it. I think we got this. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, with his charisma, and my knowledge, as long as I don't talk too much, we got this. We got this. But I'm gonna let Mingo go first because I know he's got some good info for us, and then I'm gonna get with y'all after the fact so we can talk about part 2 of mobile gaming. But right now, I'm gonna toss it over to Mingo-Dee.
All right, everybody. So, first things first, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you can do this right now. You can hit all that subscribe button and stuff like that, put some comments and stuff in there. Tell us what you want us to talk about, and we can talk about some stuff. But right now, I'm going to jump straight into it. We got 3 things I want to talk about. First things first, did you know that Superman is just like us? Did you know that? Just like us. He is a nerd. Man, Henry Cavill, online, you can find this right now on YouTube, anywhere. He made a PC, built one from scratch. Yes, it took him like 10 minutes or longer or whatever. You showed him, he was like taking the server, putting the pieces together, straight beard. You can see him be all jacked up and everything, like big Hulk banner, just building the PC, and he's smiling, laughing, and he knew what he was doing. He had the parts in there. You could tell he messed up a little bit, put the pieces in there, fixed it, and man, it was dope. So Henry Cavill was one of us. He's one of us, man.
That is pure great.
Puts a tear.
Superman is a nerd. I am in as a fan of Superman. I know another one of us always gives me crap because I like Superman. I am excited that he is a nerd. I'm a nerd. Like, we are nerds. So that's cool. That's
yeah. What I loved about it is just because how he was geeking out. And I mean, you go watch it. If you need, go watch it, because he was geeking out the way he was building it. He was excited, and that really it makes me excited, because that means that we get to see more of him. Because if he's a nerd, that means he'll want to do more Witcher, more Superman, and who knows whatever else he'll want to do. But a lot of people will follow him. If you weren't sure about Henry Cavill, I don't know how he is as a person, or I've seen him in Mission Impossible. I don't know. Well, now you know this guy is a real fun dude. You thought Keanu was good. I'm not saying Keanu ain't good. This guy is dope. So I'm not saying, so there you go. So.
There's levels to this.
There's levels.
Keanu Reeves, bro.
I know. But I'm just saying, Henry can kind of start climbing that ladder, Now let's get to the meat and potatoes, and I also got a new segment for you guys. So the meat and potatoes I want to get to is the state of streaming. I told you guys I was going to jump in with YouTube TV. So the big thing about YouTube TV is that YouTube TV has just now they've made a deal with Viacom, and they're able to get all of those channels. I think there are 6 to 8 channels on their platform, which is extremely hard because they're one of the most expensive channel brands or companies out there, if I may, and they got them. The problem is that because of that, they had to hike their price, and it comes with it. Whenever people say, "Oh, I want this channel, I want that channel," that's what happens with streaming. They have to get these channels to hike up, and they have to hike the prices up in order to pay for it. So now it went from a flat $50, which is already a little high, to $65. Mm-hmm. Now I know a lot of and it's high. I mean, but it just depends, because it depends on where you're coming from. If you're a person that to where you can spend $65 and you just have an internet, and maybe your internet's maybe like $50 for, I don't know, you'll probably spend about $100 altogether here and there. Maybe I'll probably say about $140. For a lot of people, that's extremely high, but compared to basic cable, that's still, the bundles and stuff they get for cable is still extremely high. So it's worth looking at if you're that type of person. But if you're just a streaming person, you don't need all those channels, you might want to look elsewhere, which brings me to Peacock. Peacock just came out in NBC, and their original shows are looking pretty good. They have like 6 to 12 original shows, and then they have everything in their platform. The only thing they don't have yet is The Office. They already got Friends back. So if you're wondering on Netflix what happened to them, that's why they got back to Peacock. They have a free trial, which is somewhat good. And actually, it's pretty good. You get a lot of ads and stuff. And then they have their second tier and third tier, of course, as most of them have. The problem with Peacock is that, as with HBO Max, I'm not sure how HBO Max is sitting now, but when they started, HBO Max didn't have Roku or Fire TV support. It's the same thing here. So they might push it down a little bit. So it's just something to think about.
It'll come up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you right now, NBC they can totally get me to buy into this. 2 shows that need to happen, and I'm in. I need them to bring back Heroes, because I'm still pissed off. It's on there. It just ended.
It's not new, but it's on there. The old all of them.
And that's good. But since they're gonna have original stuff, I want Heroes to come back as a series.
Yeah.
And I would not mind Jericho. I would like a real end to Jericho. There was not a real end to Jericho. Like, it just kind of.
You're right.
Stopped.
Yeah,
it didn't end. Yeah. Cause I wanted to know what happened once they made it to Texas, and it was like the show ended. And it was like, you didn't say what Texas was going to do. They believed you, but what happened after that?
Right,
so,
yeah. That is true. Jericho, and I like that show, too.
Take my money with Heroes and Jericho. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, and that's pretty much on the streaming thing. I'm going to save some more because I want to break down the on-demand and live TV and everything else next week. I'll probably spend the entire news on that, because I want to break it down so everyone can know what's going on with all these and everything else. But with that said, I want to pose a question before I go to the new segment, which is, do you think that live TV is going to be dead? Because with all the streaming and everything, and with, as you see, it's to me, it's just switched over. It went from satellite, it went from cable, satellite, well, first on the antennas, to cable and satellite, and now it's like, well, now you can get it on the internet, but it's still high priced, because you have these channels that are like, hey, we need our money, so you pay us, then you charge them. So do you think eventually it's going to be like no one's going to care about it anymore? Because a lot of people have their specific things. That's why Netflix is still #1 across the board. So, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Hammer?
You know what? It may not be in the next year or two, but I can slowly see regular cable TV kind of going away. The internet, I mean, if they're smart, all these cable companies right now invest heavily, and a lot of them already do, but continue to invest heavily in the internet. Get the best internet product you can put out there, because cable eventually is going to be a thing in the past. It just is regular traditional cable. We say that with the apps and everything. Like I said, NBC's got an app, CBS has an app, ABC has an app. Once they're able to put those shows on there, it's kind of like, why do we need, Uverse? Why do we need Suddenlink? Why do we need, like, all the cable companies should just focus on getting the best internet, get fiber, everything. Just put all your money into that, and let the broadcasting companies do their apps, and just make your money off the internet, because the internet is going to be, it's already king, and it's going to be even more. It's eventually going to happen. I think it is.
Yeah. Well, guys, you put that in the comments. You let us know exactly what you feel about it. Please comment. Come on, guys. I've been waiting to have a conversation about this stuff with somebody. I'm like on the comment section like this. I guess ain't nobody going to type. All right. Well, anyway, guys, I want to present something new to you guys. I want to call this, and I got this because this actually is going to be a great transition that's helping Hammer out. You know what I'm saying? But so I want to do this thing. I don't know how it's going to work out. I want to call it Icons Nerdlebrity Edition. Haha. Get there? The Nerdlebrities. So I want to talk about the specific guy, and I want to talk about him because he's iconic, and he's iconic right now. He's been on shows such as Breaking Bad, Once Upon a Time, The Mandalorian, been on movies like The Maze Runner, and he's on a show called The Boys coming on pretty soon. You know, he's a real cool guy. He's older looking, but he can look younger looking. He's very like, you know, tough and everything. And this guy's name is Carlos Esposito. So I wanted to give a shout out to that guy and talk about that guy, because that guy is amazing. And actually, he's in a upcoming game, which I don't even want to spoil it. But I'm just gonna talk about the guy. The guy is so good they had to put him even in the game. I mean, right now he's on 2 shows: The Mandalorian, which is coming out in November, and The Boys, which is coming out I think in a week or so. And he's in the game that's getting ready to come out. I mean, that's all I'm gonna say. Look this guy up. And with that said, I'm gonna throw it right over to Hamma, and he gonna take it from there. And there you go, Icon, baby.
And that is like the segue of the year right there, man. That was perfect. Because yes, Far Cry 6 is what I'm going to lead with. And you are right, Mr. Esposito is the main antagonist. He plays Anton Castillo, and he was in Breaking Bad. You're 100% right. Breaking Bad is, you know, he played Gus Fringe in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, so
and,
great, so great.
And that was iconic right there. I don't know if y'all didn't watch Breaking Bad, go back and watch Breaking Bad. Great series. I loved every second of it. But yes, he is the lead antagonist in Far Cry, and I'm gonna just say now, visually, game is awesome. That game is always awesome looking, but man, next gen, that thing is gonna be ridiculous. I mean, it looks like a movie, and he looks like himself. You know, they do the whole mocap thing and the screens. It's so crazy because when you see him, it's like, oh, that's him. I know him. Like I saw a picture and I thought it was a picture from like a movie or like a professional photo, and it was a screenshot of the game, and he was in it. It was nuts. But he's playing in it, and interestingly enough, since we're talking about actors, he has a son in the game named Diego Castillo, and it is played by Anthony Gonzalez, who played Miguel in Coco. He was the kid in Coco. Yes. He was the kid in Coco. My girls love Coco. So he plays his son. He plays his son in this game. And it's kind of the plot kind of sets up to where, you know, Anton is kind of, you know, he's El Presidente, and he's trying to bring this island called Yar, he's trying to bring it back to its former prosperity. It used to be a very prosperous place. It kind of made its own money, did its own thing, and everything was, you know, good. And he's doing this. He's trying to bring it back to this greatness while grooming his son to be the next El Presidente. So he's grooming his son like hands-on to take over whenever it's time for him to retire or when he passes away or whatever, what have you. Only thing about it is he's extreme about it. He's a bit extreme. He's very, very passionate. It's kind of one of those things where, you know, when you get a good bad guy in a movie, in my opinion, or in a series, you ever notice that he never really believes that he's doing something bad or he's doing the wrong thing?
Right.
He always feels like he's doing the right thing. He's doing what's best for the future of whatever it is. You know, if you look at all the really good bad guys, they usually all think that. I'm gonna throw one out there. I know one of our counterparts is a big fan of the show, but Walking Dead, Negan, you know, Negan is like the epitome of somebody that feels like what he's doing. I mean, it's people called the saviors, and you know, he's got this bat, and you see him kill people, but in his mind, he does what's best to preserve life by telling them, "You're gonna work for me, and I'll protect you." That's his thought process. You give me 50% of what you get, I'll keep you safe, protect you. Nobody will jack with you, but you're gonna pay me. So, you know, going back to the villain deal, that's kind of the way this character is. He's all about he wants the island to return to its former glory, but he's really extreme about it. You know, he'll sacrifice anybody that gets in his way. You know, anybody gets in the way, guess what? Casualty. You either with him or against him. It's kind of that kind of thing. Yeah. He calls the people that stand against him, he calls them the fake Yarians. This is just a little tidbit I got from some reading I did. and they get sent to labor camps, and most of them are never seen again. Like straight up, it said it just like that. Like you stand against them,
Wow.
you're arrested. They usually send you to labor camp after they try you, and usually you're never seen again, which means they probably either work you till you die or they just kill you because you refuse to work and never see you again. So super exciting for Far Cry 6. Like I said, visually beautiful game. I'm waiting on more detail. They're still kind of being secretive, but they did give that plot, and I'm excited about it. Like I said, it was an awesome segue. And you said, I knew that's who you were talking about. You named off the movie. You said Breaking Bad too. I was like, yeah, I know who he's talking about. That's perfect. That's perfect because he is definitely one of the iconic actors, and he's played some good bad guy roles, some awesome ones. So I mean, I'm excited for Far Cry. I think it's gonna work out. I think it's gonna work out very, very well. I think it's gonna be another award-winning game, honestly.
Yeah.
And Ubisoft, they kind of have a record of that. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. So moving from that to my promised second part of mobile gaming. So we got Google Game Pass. This is where we're gonna start doing some comparisons now, because I've already given you, you have to go back if you didn't see last week's episode. Go back.
Apple Arcade.
Apple Arcade. Awesome thing. Great stuff. Great content. Exclusive content. With the controller. The addition of the controller. Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
So this week we're gonna look at Google Play Pass. Came out around about the same time.
Right.
Actually, is a little cheaper a month. I showed the last thing they showed was like $2 a month, and I think that's pretty cool. It's a little cheaper. That's a plus. It's kind of upset. A few less exclusives. Exclusives aren't a huge thing, but it would be nice to have for them to have some more exclusives. That like, and when I say exclusives, I mean bigger games, because when you look at Apple Arcade and you start seeing how many games are on there that are only on that platform, or that are available on that platform, and maybe on like one other one that you can cross play with, because I told you there were some games you could cross play, cross platform play. There's less of them on Google Play Pass. Not that they don't exist, it's just not a whole lot of them. A lot of the games you get Google Play Pass, you see there a lot of them are just regular mobile games, ad free though. I mean that's the premise of it. A lot of the games that you can get on the regular, on the regular App Store, the regular Google Store, minus the ads, and that's a good thing, because like I said, ads can ruin a game. You're playing, you into it, and then just boom, ad off. It's like, oh really? I don't want to click on this. I don't want to watch this. Yeah, it just drives me nuts. It's good to do. It's good for that. A plus to it, you're able to cancel it at any time, and if there's particular games that you like, you're able to just purchase those games and keep them on your phone without having to have the subscription. That's a benefit that you don't get. Cool. That's kind of a benefit you don't get with the Apple Arcade, because those games are exclusive to the arcade. They are not in the regular App Store. Also, there are not just apps not just games in the Google Play Pass. There are some apps that are available in the Google Play Pass that are ad-free again, and and maybe not the free version of said app that you would get in the regular store, and you would have to pay for the ad-free one. You can get it along with your subscription to the Google Play Pass. So that's a plus. I did like that. I thought that was, a good deal. Now, as far as games, the biggest game I saw that they had on the Google Play Pass was Limbo. And to me, that's kind of big, because Limbo, the first time I saw it, I was on my Xbox. And while it is, it's a side scroller, and it's an interesting game. And I think it's neat that it's on mobile devices. Like, you can literally play it on a mobile device now. That's probably the biggest game I saw out of all of them. The rest of them, were decent games here and there. There was some. There was one that kind of reminded me a little bit of a Spy Hunter. I don't know if you remember the old Spy Hunter games.
Right.
It kind of reminded me of that, but it was a racing game, so it was over the top, GTA style over the top. It's linear, so it's vertical, and you're racing between regular traffic and other racers, and it was an interesting game. You know, the video I saw, the guy was playing. He actually ran off the road, ran off the bridge, fell into the water. I mean, everything was sad. You know, it was contextually sound, and you know, good graphics for a mobile game. You know, and that's okay. That's okay to say because it's, you know, it's a mobile game. There was another game that they had, and I'm sorry I don't have titles to these. There was just so much going on. But there was another game that felt a lot like Mario. But just a free version of like a mobile Mario. Had some of the same mechanics, you know, the jumping on top of things and, you know, hitting your head on things, like some of the same stuff. And it was on this deal. It was available to play for free, ad free, and, you know, with your subscription. And a lot of these games, you can actually search to see how much they cost individually, and you find that a lot of them are like $3 to $5. So paying $2 a month, you get all these games. It's 100% worth it because you're paying less than what you would pay to have the game. Now, over so many months, obviously, yeah, but your library is, you know, if you look game to game throughout the library, you're looking anywhere from $2.50 to $5. I'll say $2.50. I'll give them that $2.50 to $5 per game. So I mean, if you're getting the library full of that for $2 a month, it's like, okay, I can get on board with that. It does not have currently the controller support. I don't know why, and maybe just a temporary thing, and it may could change tomorrow. But there was currently no controller support. Kind of wish it had it. I understand them saying, "Hey, this is a mobile device. You're taking it with you. Why would you just randomly have a control?" But like I said before, if I'm on a plane and I got my iPhone or I got my iPad, I can easily stick this extra controller in my carry-on, and I can, we're flying to wherever. You're gonna be in the air for 5 hours. I can pull out my iPad, set it up on the little eating tray, and pull out my controller and play a video game right there. And I'm not having to worry about the clumsiness of the screen or anything. I got a control. So I kind of wish it had that, but you know, I don't think it's a deal breaker. And the graphics, you know, graphically, they were graphically sound games. There was nothing wrong with them. It all looked good, whether it was over the top or it was 3D or side scroller. They all looked good. You know, devices now are freaking crazy. You know, like I said, Galaxy X10, you know, S10, and all the, you know, crazy cameras. Time 100 camera. We already talked about that. Not gonna get into that. That's a gimmick thing, but we're gonna move on from that. Overall, as far as a comparison, honestly, they're really, really close. I can see purchasing either one, to be 100% honest. If I have to have a bias, I mean, I got Apple everything. I have Android devices too, but I have Apple everything. So for me, the convenience would be to get, you know, the Apple Arcade. I think Google Play Pass is something that is perfect for people that have lots of Android devices. Or if they have a really powerful Android device, I think you should use it. If you have any new Samsung phones, you should 100%. There's no reason why you shouldn't do this. I would be, you know, phone is a phone, but I would be waiting to play a game on that thing because it's huge. So, personal preference, Apple Arcade. I don't think there's anything wrong with either one. I'm gonna give them both 8 out of 10. Particularly because there's both of them have some negatives, and that's just to be fair. I don't nobody saying like, well, you just picked Apple because you got an app. Listen, both of them are both worth the purchase. You know, $5 for Apple Arcade, $2 for Google Play Pass. Listen, that's worth it for the amount of entertainment you get. So I would say if you have either device, check it out. You know, give yourself something to do when you're having to wait in the doctor's office, you know, on a plane. Do it. These two things are way worth it. And, you know, $5 a month, you know, a lot of people waste more than that in Starbucks a day. So I mean, it's not like it's
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, man, Chick-fil-A, because I don't drink coffee, so Chick-fil-A would be a better example. But yeah, you spend way more than that on things like that. So definitely check them out. I wanted to do the comparison because I didn't want to just do one and not the other one, but definitely worth the purchase, either one you decide to do. Outside of that, our other co-host, Mr. Yoshi, that's kind of funny. His name's Yoshi. Got his hands on
Yoshi.
Paper
That's
Mario.
good.
He got his
Paper
hands on Paper
Mario.
Mario, and
How is it?
was kind of talking to us about it, and he said it's really good. He said he gave it 9 out of 10. He said it was probably the 3D of all the paper series, and he said it had good drama. He said it actually had real dialogue that didn't feel too kiddie, but didn't feel too adult, so a kid could play it.
Right.
Overall, he said he thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm excited about that. I know I talked about it the other day, so I'm not gonna go into detail, but he said it definitely is worth the purchase. So that's something else. You got a Switch, Paper Mario, check it out.
Yeah.
Get your hands on it. Be a nerd, have fun. Comment,
Yeah.
and know what you think. Let us know if you enjoy Paper Mario. Let us know if you have Google Play Pass. Let us know if you have Apple Arcade. Let us know. The conversation is super important. We love it. It's how we function. We talk to each other all the time about the nerdiest stuff you wouldn't believe. It's crazy. So hit us up in the comments. Like, subscribe. And like I said, definitely comment. Ask questions. Give us suggestions on what you want to talk about. If you have a guest you might want on the show, it's something we can pull off. Who knows? Just saying.
Yeah, and speaking on the Google Play and the Apple Arcade, if you guys, this is how I was perceiving it. If you guys are still like on the fence or want to get on them about it, don't, because I look at it like it's like either PC versus console, or better yet, a Switch versus like the Xbox, PlayStation. It seems to me, it seems like Apple is trying to go more of the like mainstream games, and where Google Play Pass isn't. And I think that's why, because they have the Stadia. I think they're trying to keep all their main games on Stadia and just give you like these other games for you to kind of play on your phone. Where Apple is probably, because Apple, they always integrate everything together. They're trying to integrate their phones with the iPads with their possible gaming system. I wouldn't put it past that they make a gaming system that somehow they call it Apple something, whatever the console is called later on, and they start being a competitor. I wouldn't even put it past them, because that's what they do. So I would look at it like that, as in Google Play Pass is like the Switch that you play and just have fun with your family, and the Apple Arcade is something for more serious gamers. I mean, that's just how I look at it. I don't know. I mean, so that's just an idea.
Theory. That is a very interesting theory, and you said that, and it just made me think. Apple has the capability as of right now to do it, because since Apple Arcade runs across pretty much every Apple product, like whether you have MacBook, like I have a MacBook that I'm streaming on right now, iPhone, iPad. The one thing they have that already that could make it a console thing, Apple TV. They already have it.
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
It's literally a matter of using an app to get to the games. So they could elaborate even on that. They could, expand that whole feature. Like, hey, we can have a whole library of games, which they kind of already do. And
they're gonna take over the world, man. Them and Disney.
I mean, honestly, like it's the groundwork is there. So I mean, that's very, very interesting. And you brought up Stadia. You are on a roll with your segue in, because Stadia was actually going to be one of my
that was an accident
for next week. It's one of my conversations for next week. So spoiler alert, next week we will have some info on Stadia. I want to talk about it because there were some interesting things even in the Ubisoft Forward deal, the first annual, by the way, first ever Ubisoft Forward, that were announced for Stadia. And Stadia's been kind of quiet. I mean, you saw commercials, ads everywhere on YouTube for a while, and then it just kind of got quiet. So I'm going to do some digging, and I got some info, and we're going to talk about Stadia for sure next week. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. And now, guys, I'm gonna be Snake. And I'm going to say, I can't even try to do one of them jokes. I was going to try to do one of those jokes and then lead into some anime, but I'm not. But I want to talk about this thing, anime. I'm not even going to anything like detailed as he does, but I saw these two videos. One video was from Barry Comics, Hi guys, how y'all doing? Y'all please subscribe. You can get up here. But and they talked about the best characters that were created from the Batman animated series, and of course, Harley Quinn and the Mask of the Phantasm itself, which was the girl that Bruce Wayne. And I was glad that they made the top two because they were great renditions that started from the animated series and then moved to comics. And now, like Harley Quinn, you see her everywhere. She's a live action, Margot Robbie, and then all this other stuff and everything. So I thought that was great. And the other thing I hope you guys agree. I think they were the best ones. The Mask Phantasm, I think they should do more. I think they did. The Phantasm had maybe one other animation. I think it was in Justice League Unlimited, which is also in the 90s. Good cartoon. And I'm not sure if she had a comic rendition, but I think they should bring her character back, maybe in live action, Zack, Mr. Snyder guy, because her character is just really, really deep. The fact that she, whatever happened, the things that happened to her, her whole life, the reason why she couldn't marry Bruce, the reason why Bruce said no, all these people that she's been got on her hit list and everything else. I'm not gonna spoil the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. Please see the movie. It's really good. It's great. It's one of the best animated Batman cartoon movies. That other than The Killing Joke, but yeah, go see it. And the other thing I want to talk about, CBR did this. Oh man, it bothered me a little bit. They did this top 10 Shonen Jump. Shonen Jump is the animation it's like this collective of all the animation studios that houses all of their different anime brands like Bleach, One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball, those. So and Death Note and others. And they did the top 10 of the strongest from all of their brands. And I of course you already know number one was Goku. Of course, we don't need to say that. But the others in the rendition I was upset about. And the most thing I was upset about the most was that Ichigo was lower than Ichigo from Bleach. And luckily, the guy on there said he did that because Bleach isn't finished yet. But Ichigo was at a lower tier. He was 8 or 7 or 8, where Naruto was 6. And I honestly think Ichigo is stronger than Naruto, me personally. But I was just what? I don't know. That's me. But the thing that made me mad the most, and I think this is going to make Snake mad too when he sees this, is Luffy from One Piece was higher than both of them. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I was like, no way. No way he's stronger. No.
Do you know what
I was like,
man, I was
so mad.
Man. Do you know what you just did? You know when he comes back, this is a thing. We're gonna have to have a whole
I'm gonna share the video, and I'll let Snake share the video with you guys so you guys can rant as well. But when I saw it, I was just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I
was like, I wouldn't even worry about some of the other people in the list, but the fact that Luffy beat Ichigo and Naruto, I was just like, are you kidding me right now? I was like, really?
How this man feels about.
And I think All Might and All Might was even up there, but I'm not even worried about All Might. I understand why he put All Might in the position he put All Might there. He said he put All Might there because I'm not gonna spoil why All Might was, but he said he put All Might in that ranking because he know that he is extremely powerful, but that's not his main power. His main power is the fact that even with no power, he can go in and rally more people than just about everybody, which makes sense because he's the symbol. So I got that. I was like, that was one of his the guy who did the ranking. That was his opinion on that, and that was his ranking. So I couldn't get mad. But the fact that he really specified for he didn't specify for Luffy. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. So tell me. I just don't like it. I didn't like it, man. I didn't.
Just know, and I'm gonna make this suggestion. For Snake to go ahead and make him a midweek video, because this rant that's fixing to happen.
I'm gonna let you watch it. He has to watch it.
It needs a midweek video because otherwise we'll have a 2-hour show. Because he is fixing to go absolutely ham. As you said, you already know how he feels about One Piece anyway.
He hates it.
That right
he hates
there.
It.
Yes. So this is a thing now. He doesn't have to even be in here, and I know this is a thing. So I'm gonna suggest, Snake, that you take time and rant during the middle of the week, so people can hear why you think it's complete garbage. That this is the way it is. I agree with you, because I don't. I'll
Yeah.
never understand how you can't tell me that we're just not going. No, we're not going to
Yeah,
do
we're
it.
not going to. We're not
It
going to.
doesn't make
So
sense.
no.
It doesn't make
But
sense.
that's
But y'all check out the video. Y'all definitely check out the video. We get it shared and let y'all see the
yeah.
rankings and all that good stuff. Because
But that's my
it's a whole.
anime. That's my anime comic news. That's pretty much all I got. Some stuff I saw this week. I'm pretty sure some other stuff coming out. Spider-Man. They always got new Spider-Man comics coming out, and I'm pretty sure DC probably has more Batman stuff. Batman is really popular now, like because they got the shared universes and all this stuff coming up. So just read your comics. Let me know what you're reading. Let Snake know and.
Exactly.
Please watch that ranking and watch this video. It's gonna be hilarious. And
Yes,
little bit of tech. I just saw this today. My son showed this to me. It was great. So it's this YouTube channel called Hacksmith. If y'all don't know these guys, what they do, they take they're professional, by the way. So do not try this at home. They're professional guys that have been working for years in their field of building with mechanics and welding and all this kind of stuff like that. They have their own building and everything else. They're professionals. With that said, they have made like a lot of different things, from like actual real life lightsabers, like as far as like from like fire and different things like that, from web shooters and all this other kind of stuff like that. And they actually make it practical to what it might look like. But the thing they made recently is they made the arc reactor Captain America shield. It was by far the dopest thing. First thing he did is that he took the Captain America shield that he revamped, because he revamped it so it could be strong. I forgot what metal he used. I can't remember. But he made it to where it was so strong to break through like 6 cinder blocks without cracking the shield and all that kind of stuff like that. It was dope. And then he put these LED lights and some other things onto it, and this freaking blue light laser, to where it's a daily laser. You got to wear you got to wear the laser goggles and stuff, to where you can shine it and it'll pop balloons, and it can kind of write on, if you do it right, you can kind of write your name on wood and stuff. It was dope. These guys are amazing. I thought that was just amazing how that they made the arc reactor Captain America shield from that video game. I think Marvel Alliance or something like that. I think it's on mobile. But yeah, it was dope. I was like, the fact that there's just the craftsmanship, because they're nerds too. They love crafting and trying to make stuff into like different things that are real. People give them all kind of things. Hey, can you make this? Can you make that? And they'll give it their best shot, and they'll make it. A lot of times, if they can't make it, they'll tell you, hey, we can't make it. But a lot of times sometimes they can't make it for a time, and then they'll go away, and then they'll come back months later and say, hey, we finally figured out a way to make it, because they actually do the research, actually see what materials can actually work in this time. Like they actually made a Tony Stark arc reactor, but of course it's not going to actually power the world or nothing like that, but it was still powerful enough to power a bunch of stuff that was in their thing, to where it was able to almost power a building or whatever. I was like, you guys are freaking nerds, and I love it. But yeah, but that's my tech.
And that shield,
so.
that shield is like a it's kind of a shout out to the Avengers movie too.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes in that movie. They're all fighting, and Captain America's on the ground. He's like punching. Iron Man comes flying through, and he like helps him fight a little bit. Then he stops.
Oh yeah.
And shoots his refractor off of
Yep.
the shield, and they take out a whole bunch of the dead shield. That is like one of my favorite parts of the damn movie. I was like, that was dope. It was so seamless. They did it, and then he just took off flying up somewhere else. I was like, that was dope. That was dope. So that's cool that they made that. I can get on board with that. Make sure you check that out. Maybe we can link that in the description too. That's dope.
Yeah.
But I think that right there is going to do it for the show on this Saturday. And thank you guys again for all the subscriptions, all the subscribing to the channel.
Especially you. Especially you. I appreciate
crazy.
you.
Please share. Please, Mingo-Dee appreciates everybody individually.
Especially you. Especially you.
That's the good thing. It's all love. It's all love, and we really, really do appreciate you. Keep on smashing the like button. Make sure your notification bell is on. Share these videos with your friends. Share them with your friends. We love you too on Facebook. Let me say that. I don't want to leave out Facebook because you guys still support on Facebook, and we will definitely still be linking this up to the Facebook. So comment on there too. But thanks again for all the support. Have a good Saturday, and we will see you next time. And next time it'll be 3 or 4 of us. 3 or 4 of us. Take care. Have a good day. Peace out.